What's going on, guys? My name is Anthony. Welcome to my channel. For those of you who don't know me, I go by Watch With Me on Instagram. That page is really focused on just wristwatches. I've been working in the industry for around 7 years. I live in New York City. For 2019, I'm going to start my own YouTube channel. Same name, Watch With Me. This channel is going to really be focused on a few different things, mainly watches, but also fashion, cars, scotch, music, a little bit of everything, really what I enjoy. But let's get into what today's topic is. A few things that I had no idea what was going on in the watch industry that really took me by surprise before I started. So first thing we're going to talk about is actually what happened with a previous employer. It was a trip to Switzerland to visit our own factories, but while we were there, we actually were visiting where the cases and bracelets were made for the company I was with. As soon as you pull up, you realize this is where all the money is made in the industry. Ferraris, Lamborghinis, all beautiful cars parked outside. So right then and there, I knew this is where the money's made. We walk in, we were told absolutely no photos of anything at all. And throughout the tour, to my surprise, I was looking at numerous brands being made into one facility. So you start to think, you know, if one company's charging $5,000 for a watch being made in the same factory as a case that's made for $20,000, you know, how much is really built into the brand name. So complete shock to me. Not going to say which brand I was working for, but I will say it was definitely a high-end brand, mid-range, but I was watching this case being made next to a Holy Trinity case. So I won't say which brand, but it was definitely to my surprise. And the same goes for dials as well. So we went to another factory that was making all the dials for the company I was with, and I was watching these dials being made next to mid-level brands, also very low for the Swiss industry. So Tag, Longines, things like that. So completely shocked, and it was a complete surprise to me. You might have known it. If you did, kudos to you. I had no idea and was definitely completely shocked when I found that out. So what we're going to be talking about now is the gray market. The gray market's online watch sales that are being done essentially illegally from what the brands allow. They're not authorized to be selling the product online or at all. Companies like Jamba Shop and so on and so forth. Now, I was always under the assumption that they were getting their watches through retailers, like just local shops that sell multiple brands that couldn't move the product, were kind of selling it off to them at a much lower price point, and that's how they were getting it. Kind of through a little bit of researching and speaking to people in the industry, what I found out is there's actually a few brands that couldn't move a large portion of this product that would dump the product to the gray market at a much lower price point. Usually it's between, depending on the brand, you know, it could be 20% or 40% off is what they normally sell to the retailer. They might be even discounting it even lower, 60% or something like that, just to dump the product so they can really unload it and move into the next year at you know, producing other pieces. So they would dump the product to the gray market and then allowing the gray market to discount around 40% off, which is what you can find online. And just completely shocked when I came into the industry and found out that's the case, that, you know, it's the brands kind of pointing their finger at the retailer and the retailer pointing it at the brand, and more or less it's a bit of both. But I was completely shocked to find out that it is some brands dumping product to the gray market. Next, we're going to talk about the gentleman's agreement, which obviously this isn't just for my industry that I'm in. I'm sure it's for many industries, but you know, everyone's always said that the watch industry is so small. I never realized how small it was. Now, obviously there's a few different big conglomerates in the watch industry. There's Richemont, Swatch, LVMH, but I didn't know that when you were going to take an interview with another company that there could be a conflict of interest if you're not part of that group. So a recruiter contacted me, and this was a number of years ago. I'm no longer with this company, but a recruiter contacted me and asked me if I was interested in going to interview with this company. which was part of a different group that I was in. So I went for the interview. It went really well. It was a manager position, which was what I was looking for at the time. So I decided that, I went for it. The interview went well. I was waiting for the offer to be sent to me. Before the offer was sent to me, they did let me know that there was a gentleman's agreement in place and that neither brand would take any people over without the permission from the company that you're with, which in my opinion was completely odd, because that leaves you, the individual, in a very awkward situation. One, if you decide that you don't want the position, your company now knows that you're unhappy and you're looking around. Or two, if you decide that you're going to tell the company it's okay, you can reach out to my company, then you're really at the disposal of the company that you're interviewing with, because they can give you an offer, and are you really going to decline that offer? Because then you're kind of stuck in between. Now, I actually did neither. I told them that I would prefer them not to reach out to my company, but if they wanted to, I would understand. They gave me an offer. I didn't like the offer. I declined it, and I stayed with my company a number of years after that. But the president of my company did approach me and kind of ask me, why I was looking to leave and whatnot. You fast forward probably about 2 years after that, another recruiter reached out to me to go interview for a very, very high-end brand that I very much respect. So I went for this interview. It went extremely well, so well that they said that they were going to offer me the job. They told my recruiter. So at this point, I was really excited. I was waiting for the offer to come in. I was going to accept it, and that would have been it. Some time goes by. I haven't heard anything. It's a few days. My recruiter reaches out to me, and actually, no, I'm sorry. The recruiter didn't reach out to me. The manager of the boutique reaches out to me and contacts me, and she's apologizing on the phone because it turns out the president of her company is also friends with the president of my company, and he asked my president if he would be okay with me leaving, and he actually said no, he wouldn't be comfortable with me leaving. At the time, I was one of the top salespeople for the company, so basically he was in essence holding me ransom. So a couple years later, I ended up leaving for a boutique director position, but with a different company. But it's just very interesting how things work like that. I had no idea that you could, in an industry so small, you could really be kind of held against your will almost, because they won't let you leave anywhere. Okay, lastly, we're going to be talking about retail stores, meaning jewelers that sell multiple brands. Myself, I've only worked for a boutique, so standalone brands that sold just their product. Now, maybe I was naive or I didn't think much about it, but I never knew, other than the commission for selling a watch, which alone can kind of persuade the buyer to really second guess what the salesperson is telling them. There's also spiffs or incentives. Now, not every brand does it. There's actually a few brands that don't even offer any incentives to selling the watch. They just say you're going to get the commission and then that's it. But there are certain brands that will give you like a company card where every watch you sell, you might get a couple $100s on it. After a certain amount of watches sold, you can buy one of their watches. This kind of shocked me, because how, when you're showing a client, 3 different brands, how do you really, how can you really trust that salesperson to be showing you or telling you the right information when they could be saying, okay, these 2 brands are going to give me, $300 to sell their product, but this one brand's not? Are you really going to be pushing that one watch that you're not getting that extra incentive? So it's a bit misleading and caught me by surprise. But that's it, guys. Those are just a few things that I was completely shocked by when I started in the watch industry and what I've learned over the years. Leave a comment if there's some other things that whether you work in the industry or not, that may be a surprise to you. If you like this video, give me a like. I'd really appreciate it. Definitely subscribe if you like the content. I'm going to try and upload twice a week. And yeah, I'll see you next time.